Hello and welcome everybody to a special edition of the Steel City Huddle podcast. This is a preview of the kind of previews that we will be doing during the season. So while the Steelers are getting ready with training camp and preseason and all that, we're getting ramped up to see what our version of the previews and all that are going to look when the season hits. So the most important thing is this is going to be different than the regular episodes. No real slides or graphics right off the bat. We're going to figure out as we work further in, but it's shorter. Just a quick hit, especially with it being the first preseason game. And as we're going to go through, we're going to see pretty much nobody is playing that's a starter, but there's a lot of guys that we're going to get to watch. So, first, let's get to the people that are not playing. It's a long list of people that are not playing in this game. So we have Isaac Seumalo is not playing, Fryermuth isn't playing, Jonnu Smith, Calvin Austin III, Jalen Warren, Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig, Patrick Queen, Deshaun Elliott, Darius Slade, Jalen Ramsey, Joey Porter Jr., Chris Boswell. That's pretty much almost every starter. Broderick Jones will be playing as well as Mason McCormick and all that. But other than Broderick Jones, yeah, you know what? Oh no, I think it's just because it's a different angle. Relic's trying to sweet talk me. By the way, I haven't got a chance to post about it yet, but I did get Relic's new book in the mail today. I actually have not opened the package. I got home and literally jumped on to the podcast. So I am going to be posting something, but if you do not know that he has a book, you should definitely go check that out because, I got it. So it's going to be a lot of Mason Rudolph and a lot of Skylar Thompson. And we have Logan Woodside as well. Apparently, he has played for Arthur Smith before. For me, the biggest one that we are going to be looking for is Roman Wilson. I'm excited. It's to me, it's the Roman Wilson show. This is the chance that everyone wanted Will Howard to get, where we get to just kind of see because there's no reason to me he couldn't play all four quarters if he's able to, or at least as much as we're able to get out of him, because we know nothing about Roman Wilson. So to me, the biggest thing is looking at where will Roman Wilson fit in this, because we have a lot of talented wide receivers that are on this team, but there's not a lot of room behind DK Metcalf. So Roman Wilson has to prove why we should be looking at him instead of Robert Woods, instead of Calvin Austin III. And Ben Skronik's also going to be there, wanting to make a name for himself outside of special teams. So outside of that, there are some depth names that I think we should look out for. As far as people catching the football, if you haven't heard the name JJ Galbraith, he's a tight end. You definitely will know his name by the end of this. But it's going to be a lot of rookies. A lot of rookies are going to be out there, but other people you might not have heard yet. Rock Taylor. If you haven't heard the name Rock Taylor, that is a wide receiver who is going to pretty much get every opportunity to prove, just like Roman Wilson, why he should be on this football team. Although it's probably going to end up being in like a special teams kind of way. We're also having Sebastian Castro at safety because, Minkah Fitzpatrick isn't there and Juan Thornhill is not the Minkah Fitzpatrick. So if we do need that kind of a role player, who is going to step up into that kind of a role? It's also kind of a punter off because you have Corliss Waitman and you have Cameron Johnston, and both are great. Both have stepped up when needed. But we did sign Cameron Johnston to a $9 million deal. And for a punter, that's a lot. So despite the fact that a lot of people aren't playing, and Will Howard is one that a lot of people are kind of sad that that's not happening. And Mike Tomlin didn't rule him out for the third preseason game. So for all the Will Howard people out there who are desperate to see what we might have in him, that might be the chance. But other than that, I'm excited about a bunch of rookies. Number one, Caleb Johnson is going to get a lot of carries. Jalen Warren is not playing. So Caleb Johnson and Kenneth Gainwell in the backfield. That's gonna be your guys. We're gonna get to see why we drafted Caleb Johnson. We're also going to get to see a lot more of Derek Harmon, who, if you haven't heard, has been a standout since the second camp began. Pretty much since the second he was drafted, you could tell that there was a higher emotional level with this kind of a player. But everything I've heard, and I do mean everything, he is not a rookie. This is one of the rookies that you draft who is not a rookie when he comes in. And I'm excited to see that. But also Yaya Black. He's our fifth round draft pick, defensive lineman. Dude's been batting down passes like he's JJ Watt. So I'm really excited to see what we have in those two. And I haven't even mentioned Jack Sawyer yet. Jack Sawyer is going to get, just like Rock Taylor and just like Roman Wilson, he's going to get every possible opportunity to show why he deserves to not just be, talked about as a good rookie. If you didn't know, he was a captain at Ohio State, national champion, played with Will Howard, all of that. But this is a very talented rotation of pass rushers and outside linebackers we have with Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt and Herbig. And why does he deserve to be in that mix? This is where he gets to show that, because just like Derek Harmon, there hasn't been a lot of points where Jack Sawyer has looked like a rookie. So I'm legitimately excited to see as much as we can from all those. But the most important thing to remember while you're watching this preseason game is the score doesn't matter. It's going to feel weird to not want the Steelers to win the game. And from, I guess, an overall big picture perspective, sure, Mike Tomlin might preach that in a very general overall sense. But this is one of the few times where the NFL gets to be about individual performances, and where it doesn't have to be, the team. It's about what are you going to do to stand out? Because I've been reading a lot of different things, whether there's Tribune Review or Penn Live or Steelers Now, where this roster, a lot of it is cemented. We know where almost every single starter is going to be. There's a couple what you call or things on the depth chart, which is this guy or that guy. Some of it is like Freiermuth or Jonnu Smith or Cameron Johnston or Corliss Waitman, kind of that. We know where a lot of these starters are going to be. Relic is 100% right. Jack Sawyer is a dog, and he has been lighting it up at camp. This is where that gets to mean something. And I don't mean that standing out in camp doesn't mean something, but to play in the NFL, you gotta then build on that. And the best way to immediately build on a really, really good bunch of camp is to light it up in the game too. I'm gonna really quickly touch on this because I know me and Leanne are going to really want to dig into the Cam Hayward thing whenever we get to the actual episode on Tuesday. But really quick, I'm probably not going to make a lot of fans with people who are anti this, but I'm fine with this. For a lot of people who don't know the details of it, and like I said, we will get into this on Tuesday. Look into the details of Cam Hayward's contract that he signed last season, because a lot of people are just saying, "Oh, he signed a contract." He signed a very team-friendly deal. A lot of things where the team pretty much could get out of a lot of money if they wanted to. And it was, for all intents and purposes, a prove-it deal that just happened to be a multi-year thing. And he proved it. If people are deciding to cherry pick now about different things about Cam, this is not the time to do it. Cam deserves all of the money because the Steelers said, prove it. And now he did. And all around him, guys that are performing at lower levels than he did last season are getting paid more. So it's at that point where it's like, listen, you're throwing money around to a lot of other places. Why don't you throw it to me? So I'm okay with this. We will get more into it. But on the surface of it, I am fine with it. And from what I've seen from Nick Faraba, and I've also seen from a couple other people that this is not really something to get too worried about, to get too concerned about. Right, Courage? Yeah, see, Courage is not worried at all about this. Wow, that perspective is big. You got huge when you stepped into that camera, but so I would not worry about this. the list of Steelers who a lot of people forgot held out at certain times, including Hines Ward. I always like to bring that one up when people forget that Hines Ward did holdouts or hold-ins. Money matters. It's a business, so loyalty is a big part of it. But Cam Hayward has kind of seen that Pittsburgh this year is operating like a business, and he wants a little bit more of that. And I don't blame him for that. So, oh wait, first drive. Oh, I've been watching the Browns game. Yep. There's a reason he was drafted where he was. And what does Courage have to say about it? Courage has very little to say about that, apparently. He's saving his opinions for Tuesday. So I wanted this to be really, really quick, just about 10, 15 minutes where we touched on the preseason. Something fun to if people don't remember, Jaylen Warren was one of those undrafted rookies who you got to watch and stand out in preseason, which is why he eventually became what he was, the complement to Najee Harris, and now he is our RB1 or RB1A and B, however you want to put it. But the thing that I'm excited about for the defensive players, especially, is that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be playing their starters. They said pretty much all their starters are playing, including Travis Hunter. I have been a Travis Hunter fan since Colorado, and I've watched, I think, every single game he played at Colorado. And I'm excited to see what kind of NFL player he'll be. But also I'm excited to see how he's going to stand up against some of these depth cornerbacks that we're going to have. And then on the flip side of it, how are our quarterbacks going to stand? How is he going to defend some of our wide receivers and pass catchers that are going to be out there? So while we might not be starting starters, and if you didn't hear, I'll go really quickly through them again. Sayamalu Fryermuth, Jonnu Smith, Calvin Austin III, Jaylen Warren, Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Herbig, Patrick Queen, Deshaun Elliott, Darius Slay, Jalen Ramsey, Joey Porter Jr., and Chris Boswell will not be starting in this game. That's incredibly smart. Aaron Rodgers did say if Mike Tomlin ever wanted him to start in the preseason or play in the preseason, he would happily do so. I wouldn't bet on that. I would bet that this preseason we're going to see a lot of Mason Rudolph. We're going to see a lot of Skylar Thompson, and then Logan Woodside is going to be sprinkled in as we go. So for anybody wondering, there is football on right now. Apparently the Browns are playing, and Shedeur Sanders is not doing that well. So if anybody wants to see what the Factory of Sadness is going to be looking like, feel free to do that. But yet again, the Steelers tomorrow in Jacksonville. I think the players are here already. I don't know how the preseason travel works. I know the reporters already are taking pictures of the beach. So 7 p.m. tomorrow, preseason football. Steelers football is back. We've waited through the void, and I know it doesn't count yet, but one step closer to counting, and there's a lot of things to look at. So like I said, just quick hitting preview. We'll do more as we get into the season and kind of flesh it out more, but we'll do a recap of what that game looked like and dig more into the Cam Hayward thing. We're watching on the big screen. Look at this. So for everyone watching, thank you for tuning in to this impromptu thing. We kind of put this together last minute. Me and Leanne, we're going back and forth. Sometimes it'll be both of us, sometimes me, sometimes her, depending on what the preview is going to be. We'll always try to do it live the day or two before the game to make sure that we can answer any questions you guys have. If you are watching this afterwards, feel free to leave a question in the chat. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And Steel City Huddle, we'll see you guys on Tuesday to recap everything, talk about Cam Hayward, and hopefully continue with a healthy football team moving forward. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful night.
Leanne and Zach would like to thank you for tuning in to the Steel City Huddle podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss a thing.